Let them get in here, Coach. They getting in here. I see them.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to apologize for being a little tardy, but I arrived here late, man. And I apologize, but we got a great show prepared for you guys tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky Miller. I'm your co-host, and we have our featured host in the building today. He didn't get to play in this historic game that we're going to commemorate tonight. But he did one night in Mississippi in pouring down rain against the vaunted Mississippi Valley Delta Devils, against Willie Satellite Totten and Jerry World Rice. He threw 6 touchdowns in a losing effort. My man, none other than Johnnie Cole. What's up, Coach?
What's going on, Rocky? Hey, every week you add something to it. Next you're gonna say it was Cole's snoring all over the field in Houston, Texas, in September.
Hey, Coach, put a little sauce on it, Coach. But hey, Coach, but I tell you what, Coach, any night you can throw 6 touchdowns, Coach, it's a good night, Coach.
Yeah,
I just regret you guys wasn't able to pull the victory off on the gunslinger and Jerry Rice and Willie Todd. Not many people did that year, Coach, so don't feel so bad. And a lot of them didn't throw 6 touchdowns while losing.
Well, you know, those cats, man, they were setting the world on fire, and you know, just being able to compete at that level, you know, and you know, make it so good that me and Willie Totten are good friends, man, made everything even more glorious that day.
And speaking of that, Coach Totten, as offense coordinator for Valley State, and your brother, they had a battle for the ages last Thursday, and we're gonna touch on that a little bit as we go on. But Coach, this is a very special edition of HBCU Coaches Corner. Tonight we have a very special guest, someone who's a very good friend of yours, someone you've known a long time, and someone who also means so much to HBCU sports. I'll step aside, Coach, and let you give this gentleman his proper introduction.
Well, first of all, this is the 100th year of the State Fair Classic. And this is a guy we're bringing on that knew Eddie Robinson personally, had a lot to do. If you know anything about the history of Grambling, all the traveling, they only had 3 home games, and this guy would set up all the travel. He also started the Labor Day Classic between Prairie View and Texas Southern as well. He's also been a part of the Space City Classic, and he's a promoter of you know, shows all over this country, and he's been in this business for a long, long time. And he's a good man. He loves HBCUs. He's always been straight up. He's always at the end of the day or at the end of the game, they've always got their paycheck. He's more than just another person. I call him my big brother, Mr. Al Wash.
Hey, Mr. Wash, thank you for joining us tonight. But in case people don't know exactly what you're responsible for, I'm going to step aside and let them hear about it.
There's never been an artist with this many hit songs. September 27th. They're coming. It's TLC, the Farewell Tour, live at the State Fair Classic. And this year, we're keeping it 100. The 100th Anniversary State Fair Classic. You don't want to miss this one. Live on the Chevy main stage. The post-game concert with the legends at a price where you can afford to bring the entire family. TLC in their farewell tour at State Fair Classics, Saturday, September 27th, Dallas Cotton Bowl, sponsored by the City of Dallas Sports Commission, State Fair of Texas, Pepsi, Pipkin Law Firm, and ALW Entertainment. Tickets at the Grambling Athletic Ticket Office and Ticketmaster.
Can you put the
All right, Mr. Wash.
Okay.
I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Last time you were on the show, you taught us a little something about HBCU sports, and you said you cannot make it just a game. You have to make it an event. And this year, you truly have made it an event, being that it is the 100th anniversary of the State Fair Classic.
Well, you know, we got to go all out. This is Texas too. So, you know, we do things big in Texas.
Yeah. You know, what does it mean sitting on a week out? It's actually the 27th, but we a week ahead. You know, one thing, we told him we'd bring him back, and he was strategic in making sure we brought him back. You know, he's still promoting. I know we're a week and a half out. You know, after 100 years out, I mean, you know, how you feeling? Because you've always been the man behind the scenes, and thanks to our friendship that I was able to get you out of the scenes and come out in front. How you feeling truly about walking into your 100th game?
Well, this is not my 100th game, but this is my 100th year of celebrating. I've been promoting game for 50 years now. So it's my 50th year, but the game's been going on well before I came along. And it was between Langston and Wiley College, and then Prairie View got involved with Wiley College, and then later on Grambling got involved. And there's been some other teams. Texas Southern played in it, Tennessee State, North Carolina A&T, Elizabeth City has played in it. But we've had some good times, and it's always been a exciting event. And I call it an event because everybody know that Prairie View at one time had an 80-game losing streak. So with that, we promoted everything but a football game.
You just named some other teams. Are Prairie View and Grambling actually locked into the game? I guess I would say under contract, or is it a possibility that you might could bring different teams in?
Well, I wouldn't want to bring two different teams in. We've always been in the top 3, top 4 games in attendance in the SWAC. I think this year we might be the top team. I tell my staff and everybody, I'd be very disappointed if we didn't do 75,000 people this year. And
you hear that? You hear that, audience? 75,000. You better buy your ticket early. Make sure you get up in Dallas area. It's a great city. It's in the Cotton Bowl. Matter of fact, it's the first day of the State Fair. Is that right, Al?
That's correct, and that's the world's largest fair. So it's the first opening of the fair.
Yeah, tell them again, Mr. Watts. We got a lot of people watching from North Carolina, Tennessee, ton of people from Mississippi, a lot of people from Florida, even Louisiana. Tell them it is the what fair now? Because
it's the world's largest fair.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then before the game, you come in with your ticket. You kind of go through what all you get with this ticket.
Well, you can get there at 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, you can go to the fair every day for a week and never see the same thing. So you got the automobile show. You got a big major stage, the Chevy stage, where we have the TLC post-game concert. We have a Southern Soul pre-game concert. We got the little girl, Miss Shirley. You know, she's doing her thing. And, you know, we got everything, livestock, and, you know, we got a parade that night. And inside every night it's a parade in the fair. So and with the game, with the halftime show, we have what we call a baby block party. We have a concert going on while the game is going on. Last year we had Rick Ross came in, and everybody said, "Oh, he's not gonna be there. He's up in Arizona with Dion on game day." Man, when Rick Ross walked down that tunnel, people went crazy.
Yeah.
So we bring it all, and we will have some special guests performing with the university bands at halftime. It's going to be an exciting time.
Yeah. Now I'm coming there. I get there early, Al, and the first thing come up is it the TLC concert?
Well, it's the TLC post day. They're doing the post game.
Yeah, and they're gonna be under the Chevrolet. You say 10 or
the Chevy stage? Yes,
Stage.
the main stage on the fairground, which is just right outside the gates of the Cotton Bowl.
Wow. So with one ticket, you getting concerts, you getting the football game, you getting to see celebrities, you get to buy a turkey leg, Rocky.
Hey, I was there last year, Al, and one of the interesting things about it, there's not anything quite like this value. And I'm just talking about for all you guys that are into value. Like you said, you get an interest to the game, you get an interest to the fair, you get a concert, literally 2 or 3 concert tickets in this one ticket. I don't think there's a better value, entertainment value, at any point during the year. This is just an extreme value, and it's kid friendly and family friendly. You know what I mean? It's just an overall tremendous event, and you, along with the people that run the state fair, do a tremendous job of welcoming the people in that event. It seems like they were very prepared for everybody who showed up, from the people who sold the turkey legs, from the people who were serving alcohol and all that. It was enough for everything, and it was plenty of room. It was a tremendous event. And again, I've been to it before, but it seemed like last year you guys had taken it to another level. Just the entire experience was fantastic last year for me, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, you think that's something they've done $180 million renovation of the Cotton Bowl.
Wow.
So you're gonna see a new stadium there also.
Wow. What time is kickoff, Coach?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. Pre-game show start at 4. The gates of the Cotton Bowls open at 5. The kickoff is at 6 o'clock. And I think you're going to see an exciting football game, too, this year.
Yeah, Mr. Wash, now how, let's kind of go back. Were you approached to take this game over, or did it just come to your interest? I know you from that area, up in the Dallas area. How did you kind of get involved and then latched on? And again, you always been behind. You see that ALW, but some people really didn't know who you were.
Well, the way it came about, Pace Management out of Houston was marketing this game, the Bayou Classic, and the Space City Classic. A lot of people don't remember that. Space City, Johnny. That was Texas Southern and
Grambling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was in the Astrodome. So that was a big game also. And the schools wanted out of the contracts with them, and they went to court, and the schools won the lawsuit, and they wanted the Pace Management had to promote 5 games free for them to settle the lawsuit. And naturally, Pace didn't want to have anything to do with it. So they said, look, why don't we hire your company and you do the game here in the Dallas and promote the game. Well, we did probably about 3,000 more people than they have been doing all them years. And that's when one of the athletic directors at Prairie View said, well, look, y'all did better than them. We don't have the manpower. You know, y'all do a good job. Why don't you continue to promote the game? And we did. You know, we promoted the game, and 50 years later, here we are today.
Wow. Man, that's great. Al, now, you know, I know you go out and get sponsorships and stuff, and maybe people listening to this, does it matter what type of sponsorship you get, or is if somebody was interested in and trying to help promote the game even more, is it a way they can contact you, or how do you handle that? I know you got people on, you know, ready to go, but you know, do you take on new people that want to be a part of the game?
Oh, we have new people every year, you know. So, but our big supporters is the city of Dallas, the State Fair. You know, I mean, this year we have Pipkin Law Firm, Pepsi Cola, Chivy. Frost Bank. You know, so we have a lot of different corporate sponsors that make it happen. We just couldn't make it happen like this in the way that we're doing it, just with the Gates receipts. That can't happen. You know. So yeah, if they want to contact us at ALW Entertainment, they can go to our website, get our information, contact us, because right after this game, the clock hits 0, we start for next year.
Yeah. Well, I know that. I know we were apart and actually met with you guys, and shoot, man, you guys was so ahead, and we.
Yeah, I'm sure he got a phone call or something like that. So that's what happened.
Oh, okay, man. I tell you, this game, I've been to probably the last 20 of them, Coach, and they get bigger and better. You know, that sweet box they got up there, man. They got the Jack Daniels going, and you know, they got the barbecue going, and you know, there's a lot of celebrities that come up in the magazine area, and sponsors. You know, and you know, he's really has rolled the red carpet out for a lot of the volunteers as well as helping getting this game going.
Yeah, you know, I went a couple of times when my nephew played. Was in the Prairie View band, and each time, you know, it was a great experience. Again, back then, I was paying attention to the fried Snickers, the turkey legs, the corn dogs. I didn't pay much attention to the game, to be honest with you. My wife, anyway.
And it was so much. I mean, there's so much truth what he say about it's about the game more so than about the two teams playing. Because for a while there, you know, Grambling was kicking butt almost 20 years straight. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't necessarily about the game. Because I mean, let's face it. If you just go beat the team 20 years straight, but everybody still show up to the game, and then on Friday night. The night I like to go up, you know, they have the big sponsorship party out at the Southwestern venue out there by the airport, Love Field. And man, I mean, they have a spread. It's the Southwest Museum, and they have a spread out there, Coach. I mean, from enchiladas and everything, man. I mean, from shrimp, you know. The drinks are free.
You think you can get me an invite, Coach?
Hey, well, we got to get you in town first.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, I can't. I'm sure Mr. Watch is gonna come back. He dropped off here briefly, Coach. But you know, one thing that's happened to this game, Coach. You say Grambling went 20 years winning this game, probably even longer. Now it's a football game, Coach. Each and every year it's a football game. And to be honest with you, the last recent years, it's played a role in Prairie View either making it or not making it into the SWAC championship game. And it's funny, we can honestly say this, that Prairie Grambling is the far more storied program, right? But in recent history, Prairie View has had much more success than Grambling when we talk about the last 6 years. Why do you think that is, Coach? Just in your with two different coaches, Prairie View was able to make it to the SWAC championship, a place that Grambling hasn't been here recently. What has kind of made that possible and allow Prairie View kind of to overtake Grambling, so to speak?
When you look at both programs, where Prairie View used to be strong in the 60s, and then, they fell off for a long time, where Grambling has always been up, down, up, down. And so when Prairie View really started winning, Grambling was in his down years. When Fob was there, Fob beat Prairie View, Not most of the time, but most of the time, not all the time. Of course, when Doug Williams was there, when Rob Broadway was there, it was different. But I think it adds something to the game. And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Al Wash would say that when you do play good games and they have close ones, that add to the fire of the game. So it's a good thing that Prairie View A&M has turned itself around. They had great, you can't say enough about Frazier. He's the one really got things back, on the winning ways when he was at Prairie View. So it's important, and that's why it's important. I think you got two colorful coaches coming in this year that's going to add some fire to it. Of course, Tremaine Jackson in Prairie View. He's seen going to the Atlantic Zone. And then you got the colorful Mickey Joseph, who, coached at the University of Nebraska. He's been at LSU. He knows about winning championships. So you also got two great coaches coming in as well. So I think it adds some thunder to the game. And then you can't say enough about TLC. So I think, like he said, it's more than a game, it's an event. You got some added thing, and you can't say enough about the state fair. You could get there, man, and feed your family, eat your turkey decks. They got fried everything from fried chicken to fried chicken beef. You know what I mean?
Fried Snicker.
Yeah. Fried ice cream, fried beer.
And then the rides, and then the ponies and the horses. It ain't a game like it. It's no other game. It's no other classic game like this game. It sits inside, for people that don't know, it sits inside the state fair.
Yeah, 400,000 people on the fairgrounds at one time.
Wow.
And I got some, this is a unique story. I went in the exhibit last year before the game. We got there. So last year, Mr. Wash, we got there early. My wife and I and my friends, we got there around 1:00. We got there early. And we walked the fairgrounds and got there at the exhibit. And I bought some of the best soup, this soup mix I bought. I'm looking forward to coming back and finding that soup mix in the exhibit, because there was just so many things in that exhibit hall. But again, it was this tortilla soup. You just add water and heat it up. I can't wait to get back over there and find that place, and I hope they come back. But it's just so many things that you are able to do while you're there. There's a cigar lounge right there as you walk in to the state fair that you can go to. For those cigar enthusiasts like myself, I can go right over there to the cigar lounge. Last year was sponsored by Blowing Smoke. With Smoking Jacket. I don't know who's gonna be there this year, but it was it was just anything you could imagine, Mr. Wash, it was there.
Yeah. We'll go over. I see somebody said you could buy tickets at Williams Chicken. Where can guys purchase it?
Not only can you buy them at Williams Chicken, but for everybody that buy a ticket at Williams Chicken, they get a 2-piece of chicken with a Dr. Pepper.
Wow.
You just buy your ticket, you get 2-piece chicken and Dr. Pepper, and they buy them.
Hey, I don't live in Texas no more, but I'm gonna go stop by William Chicken when I get there, though. That chicken is excellent. Let's get that straight. Uh, uh, you got your people that work with you that's been you. What other promotions that you do around this game? Of course, I know you personally that as soon as this game's over, y'all meeting on Monday about what either happened and start to go. What else do you do around the country?
Around the country or around this game? You said around
Around,
this game first, then you said around the country.
right. Well, you got it, coach. You got the floor. Which one you want to start?
Well, when it comes around the game, we've been having some promotions at Frost Bank where the kids and the family, we call it Family Fun Day, and we give away a box of barbecue. We have funnel cakes. We have ice cream. You know, we have face painters out there painting the kids' face. We got balloons, people blowing up balloons for the kids. We got the championship trophy and the belt out there where they can take a picture with it. So there's a lot of things that are going on. We give away the clap fans. We're gonna have them fans, so bring your fans with you. So we got fans, we got backpack, clear backpack. Got to have a clear bag to get into the Cotton Bowl. So bring clear bags, and we got rally towels. We have pennants. We just have a lot of gifts that we have going out. But other things that we do around the country, we call this game and our Mother's Day weekend, we do what we call a Mother's Day celebration. We'll do at least 9 to 12 shows in 3 days Mother's Day weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have 3 to 4 shows each night. We play markets like Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Atlanta, Birmingham. So we play different shows, and everybody said, "Well, how are you gonna be in all them different cities?" I'm not at all of them. I have different people at every show, and we have a different group of artists, and we at the top. And we don't call it gospel because it's not all gospel. This year we surprising people. We're gonna have Eddie Levert, and we're gonna have Howard Hewitt on the show, and you have along with some of the Tamla Mans and we Marvin Sapp. We have a lot of different people, and it's catered to mothers. So young, old, grandmothers, mud deal. If you got a mama, come on with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Let's pivot for a minute out. And a lot of people, the last time you was on, we had to talk about just promoters. You're not a man to take advantage of anybody. I've been around you. Of course, I know you personally. Let's talk about the finance of what you bring to both of these HBCU schools from where you started from to now, because it's nothing ever here with you. Everything has been on the table. Everything has been the up and up. I just want to let people know what you do. You do things for HBCU. You make it happen, and you make sure that they get paid.
well, the only way to do something like that so everybody's happy is where everything's on top of the table. And I call Grambling and Prairie View my partner. So they take a 74% of the net proceeds home with them, and and I take 26%. But it's a win-win situation for everyone. We do all the work. All they do is come in and play the game. They don't have to do nothing but just come in, check in the hotel, play the game, and go home with a big fat check.
Yeah. You're not the traditional promoter where they come in and offer both schools this salary that they give both schools. You like you said, you guys are more partners. That none's done up front. Everything is done on the back end.
Well, the times have changed, and you can't go and give these schools $300,000, $400,000, and and have those type of expenses going in, but they still go home with more money than that. And but you have to. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to put in their share of marketing, sell tickets on campus. They got to do a little trash talking when they come to the press conference, and you know, it's not just thinking that Al Wash just gonna make it all happen, and we're gonna pop our fingers and everybody get a check and go home. It is a little work, but as far as that weekend, all they got to do is come in and play a game.
Mr. Wash, I'm gonna do some housekeeping right here because I really want to get into some of the financial implications of playing this game and how you put together this deal, because I think it's very important for not only because we have ADs and all kind of people that watch our show. So I just want to announce that we're going to suspend this on the Off Script channel. We're going to continue this on the Rocky Miller channel. I've put the link in the chat. And I want to thank you guys for who are watching on the Off Script channel. But if you want to continue watching this, please come over to the Rocky Miller channel and we'll continue this conversation with the legendary HBCU promoter, Al Wash.
Hey, can you put his commercial on while you do that?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
certainly.
We did it at the end, and it's the middle.
Okay, gotcha. I'll do that before I cut it. That'll be awesome. Hey, thanks. You're a good producer.
There's never been an artist with this many hit songs. September 27th. They're coming. It's TLC, the farewell tour, live at the State Fair Classic. And this year, we're keeping it 100. The 100th anniversary State Fair Classic. You don't want to miss this one. Live on the Chevy main stage. The post-game concert with the legends. At a price where you can afford to bring the entire family. TLC in their farewell tour at State Fair Classic. Saturday, September 27th, Dallas Cotton Bowl. Sponsored by the City of Dallas. Dallas Sports Commission. State Fair of Texas. Pepsi. Pipkin Law Firm. And ALW Entertainment. Tickets at the Grambling Athletic Ticket Office and Ticketmaster.
All right.
All right, we're ready to resume this conversation with the legendary promoter, Al Wash. Before we, what I really want to talk about, Al, is there's been a lot of conversation in recent years about promotions, promoters. Dion kind of kicked off this conversation about how games are promoted and the compensations that schools receive. All right. Can you just, as a promoter, first what I want you to do is you've kind of briefly explained your role as it relates to the State Fair Classic, but what is the role of the promoter in putting together this game, putting together any classic for that matter?
Well, the role, a major role, is to try to figure out a way. I try to figure out a way to get the people in the stands and to buy tickets. You have to make it exciting. You have to design radio spots. You have to do some marketing on radio, TV, social media. You have to go in and even negotiate the stadium, the deal with the stadium, how much you're gonna pay rent. You got to hire security. I do everything. The building.
Seems like we've had Al drop off again, but again, we will resume this conversation once he gets back on. But my question to him before he got dropped off, so I don't want you guys to forget it. Make sure that we're able to ask Mr. Wash this question again, because I think it's a very important question. The question is, what is the role of the promoter?
Okay.
Okay, there you go, Mr. Wash. Thank you again. The question was, what are the role of the promoter? And you got up to getting the stadium for the game. Looked like he dropped off again. But he mentioned, Coach Cole, you've been in this situation before. So that's what I wanted to kind of get your input into it.
Yeah.
What has been your understanding as a coach? What is the role of the promoter?
When the promoter first, he'll call either the coach or the athletic director and ask us, do we want to be in a classic game? So sometimes it takes schedule change. Sometimes it takes, well, can we use your home game? And most of all, it takes that both teams come together and decide that's what they want to do. And most of the times when you do play in these classics, you're playing at a neutral site. So that's the first thing. Once you start looking at the dates, then you want to know, well, how is it going to benefit me as a coach? You know what I mean? Or a AD. What's the purse going to be? And then once they get a number to the purse, you as a coach and an athletic director got to sit down and see, because you got to travel. You know what I mean? And are you going to get money up front? Is the money going to be paid after the game? Those are things that has to be discussed. You should do a background on this promoter to see, what's going on. Is he a good promoter? Is he a bad promoter? Get some references that he's got to send out, because, you're gambling with moving 100 people somewhere, and let's say the hotel ain't right, or the stadium ain't paid, or it ain't enough police. So it's a lot come behind being the promoter.
Mr. Wash, what we had got to is they said you booked the stadium for the event itself. You determine what venue will be, where this will be hosted. Coach Cole was kind of explaining the role of the promoter as the coach and how he understands it to be. So what would you like to add to that?
Well, and that's true to a degree, depending on the type of deal you have with the schools. You just don't go out, and I just won't go out and say, oh, I'm going to put you at Lowe's Fieldhouse, which is a high school stadium. You have to have an agreement that you have to make sure the schools is in the right frame of mind to play the facility that you want to play. You don't want to bring them and degrade the quality of what they're going after, because they got to recruit these kids. These kids are playing in better high school stadiums than some of these HBCU stadiums. So you have to be able to know what they are accustomed in doing at the schools. So we try to take them I've played the Astrodome, I've played Independence Stadium, the Cotton Bowl, Arrowhead Stadium, the Silver Dome, Soldier Field. So we Texas Stadium. We've played some of the major stadiums across the country where that helps on recruiting too. Yeah, it helps recruiting the band. The band is a showpiece too now, it has to work as a team. You have to make it work as a team. So once they put all, like Johnny was saying, once they put all those expenses together, and we sit down and we hash it out, and if your expenses come to, you want to travel a certain way, when they went to Notre Dame, Michigan, Ohio State, they get $1 million, but they got to fly the band, they got to fly the team, they got to feed them 3 meals a day, they got to house them, But what kind of money are they coming home with, and how healthy are those kids gonna be? You traveling 100 kids.
We're going. Is it
No, I think if people are calling him, there you go. There he's back.
oh,
Go ahead.
Al, you must be doing this on your phone. Al.
Are we still there? Can y'all
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Are you
Yes,
doing
sir.
it on your phone?
Can you hear me, Mr. Wash? Hello? Can you
I
hear
don't
me?
think I'm hearing anybody.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can definitely hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, Mr. Wash. We hear you just fine. Can you hear us, Mr. Wash? Are you able to hear us? Well, let's take this moment to welcome the third member of this broadcast, the man who has just arrived, who despises being late and not on time, but we understand that it must be something important if Mr. Campbell is late. He's a very timely person, and I want to thank you for joining us, Mr. Campbell. If whatever kept you away, I hope that everything is settled down and you've blessed somebody in the process.
Well, I could not miss this, but had to drop my first cousin, proud professor at Tennessee State. He's going back to Nashville, and I had to drop him off to the airport. He was in travel, so I had to get him where he needs to go. So he's up there doing great work up there at Tennessee State. So, I had to get him to that airport.
Hey, well, thank you, man. We were just talking about talking to Al Wash, and I was asking him the role of the promoter, and you have been a promoter before, and I guess we can just go ahead and Coach Cole has worked with promoters as a head coach, right?
Yeah. I love your background too, Mr. Campbell.
Man, listen. We gotta keep this thing going, man. I came right, man. Like I said, I know Mr. Walter wasn't gonna be ready for that background I had, but he ain't here. But still, as you say, State Fair Classic, get them tickets. So I had to have that background, coach.
He's back with us. He is back with us.
I'm sorry. I tried to get it on my computer, and I'm on my telephone. Every time somebody called me,
I know he's getting
get
a lot of
knocked
phone
off.
calls. He's probably doing it like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah. I want to thank you, Mr. Watts. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I want to thank you, Mr. Watts. Hey, we sticking with it. We here for you, and as you work through whatever, because I know you the point man. You got a lot riding. You're expecting 75,000 people this weekend. In 2 weeks at the State Fair Classic.
Hey, we can hear you. So you can just come on and talk.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
No, hey. I guess you called him this time, huh?
yeah, Coach. I had to go ahead on and send some time. Go ahead.
Can you hear us,
I know
Mr.
y'all
Watts?
say y'all can hear me, but I don't know what we discussing.
No. Can you hear me?
We
Can you hear me, Mr. Watts?
Else. So it takes a lot of information to build a budget, and a budget that everybody can agree upon, so we can then, see what the ticket price need to be. We have a $40 ticket. Like you said earlier, you can't beat a $40 ticket in today's time. You pay $440 to go see a concert. You see all this for $40, 2 or 3 shows, an all-day affair with your family, and have a great time.
Can you hear us, Mr. Watts?
No, but keep going.
I mean, he can't keep going because he don't know where he is. Let me see. Hey, let me see. See if he can. What about now, Mr. Watts? Can you hear us?
Hey, that's what we need for people to subscribe.
Sorry for the confusion on my part, and but I want to thank everybody and support the game. Come out, and if you've never seen a real entertainment show, come next weekend to Dallas, Texas, and you're gonna see the greatest HBCU game. You know, everybody know about Turkey Day Classic, one in Birmingham, the Bayou Classic, but if you've never been to Texas, baby, we do it first.
Yeah. Campbell.
Yes, sir.
We gonna get him. We gonna get him.
We gonna get him.
Mr. Watts.
You want me to call him?
I got him. Can you hear me, Mr. Watts?
I hear you.
All right, you right here with us, Mr. Watts. We got you on the telephone now, and so if you don't mind talking to us on the phone, we good to go. If you can.
All right, that's fine.
All right, Mr. Watts. This is what I wanted to kind of ask you. When we talk about a classic, a lot of responsibility is put on the promoter, right? And the promoter seems to always be the scapegoat in these conversations of why a classic fails. In your estimation, what's the true responsibility of the promoter, and what is the reason why classics fail?
Well, you know, I know somebody was saying check out and find out something about the promoter. You know, we got to do the same thing. We got to find out something about the athletic director, the head football coach, and the schools, and what their thinkings are, and what they want to get out of it. If everybody don't want to get anything, then, you know, it's not a good marriage for us to make this happen. So you have to be able to know what everybody wants out of it to move forward.
You know, and let me ask you this also, Mr. Watts. What makes a good classic? What makes a good classic? For all of you guys aspiring promoters out there that want to put on a classic, what would make a good classic, and what are the ingredients of a good classic?
The ingredients is being able to be in a market that you don't get a lot of HBCU games. It's, you know, you can't go to a market where you have 2 or 3 HBCU games in a year, you know, and that's why they're so successful in a Dallas, in a markets that you don't have back-to-back games. And you have to have the right combination of teams, you know, and some teams just don't draw in certain markets. You have to know where the base are from. You can't go to Alabama without an Alabama school. You know, you want to go where the drawing power is, and that's something that a promoter has to know. He has to do his homework. You know, even when we were doing games in Chicago, we knew that it needed to be a Mississippi school playing in Chicago. We went to Detroit. We know we needed an Alabama to play. Years ago, that's where they went to get these factory jobs from Alabama to Mississippi, going up on the East Coast. And if you want to go, you need to go with a Texas school or a Louisiana school. You know, that's where they was going. A lot of them was going west to get jobs out there. So you have to know where the base is, and you have to know where the alumni are. You try to go where there's a big alumni chapter in these markets. So I wouldn't take no game into Utah. If I can do a classic game in Utah, that don't make no sense. So, but some people think because you're doing a classic, you can make it work. Some people think that you can compete against another classic game And I seen other games come to Dallas. They say, "Oh, we're gonna go to Texas Stadium." That game, Grambling and Prairie View, is at the Cotton Bowl. We're gonna go over here to Texas Stadium because that's where the Cowboys play. I mean, there's no transportation service out there. There's no out there. You're gonna pay big dollars to go into that stadium, and just because the Cowboys play there, don't mean you're gonna draw over there. Now, we went over to Texas Stadium with Grambling, but we knew what we were doing. We played Grambling and SMU and packed it out. That's when they had Craig James and so we know what we were doing. So you just have to, it has to be some homework done on the promoter side to know where to go and where you're going to draw people.
Yeah. Mr. How many years did they have the game been in the Cotton Bowl, or that's where it originated at?
Well, we've been involved. The game been played in the Cotton Bowl for 100 years. Wow. Now, Grambling and Prairie View has been playing in the Cotton Bowl I've been doing it for 50 years, and it was done before I came along. So I would say it's been maybe about 60, 65 years they've been playing. The first 4 years, it was Langston and Wiley. And then became Prairie View and Wiley because they wanted 2 Texas schools, but that was Negro Day in the fair. And the game was played on a Monday night. So, wow. and Eddie Robinson was saying they was the one who started Monday Night Football because that's when the only time you could get into a stadium. You couldn't get in there on a Saturday, the big college day.
Wow.
Wow.
That's some history. That's some history.
Oh, good old Negro Day.
Yep.
Now, Mr. Watts, because I like to talk about the business aspect of it. What kind of economic infusion is the State Fair Classic to the city of Dallas and surrounding areas? Do you have any numbers you can introduce?
They'll tell us what they want us to hear. And they said the economical impact has been in the number of $20 million. Well, I've seen how they've done research to get these numbers, and it don't work. And they brought in, one year I seen them, and they said they're going to do a good study. They brought in a team of kids and students from Montana, a college out of Montana that they hired. They must have had about 50 of them. And these people were trying to stop our clientele and say, what hotel are you staying in? Where you from? And, and try to get information out of them. And these black people was looking at them like they're crazy and just kept walking. You can't do studies like that. They don't come, they don't know, and all they're looking at is the major hotels downtown. They don't go to Oak Cliff, the black side, or it's white people live in Oak Cliff too, but they don't look at how we spend our money. We go get our hair fixed, we go get our car washed, we go buy new outfits, we might go to dinner the night before when we get into town. We gonna go to a hotel, we might go to a smaller hotel outside where we can pay $95 versus $195. Because we got kids too, and the times are different now. So there's a lot of things that that they try to calculate to say. Now in Shreveport, we had a meeting today. They said the hotels was 8% higher on Labor Day weekend on that Friday and Saturday, and it was 13-point-something% higher on that Sunday. More rooms than the normal Labor Day weekend. So they know that restaurants was making more money. So it was success in there. And the city, I think they might have spent maybe $100,000, but it was all in-kind type service. You can't do a game with in-kind. In other words, we're going to give you free rent, but we're going to charge you for this label and this label, and they bring a label from New Orleans. You know, why wouldn't you just hire the people in Shreveport? You know, and it's just, but these are things that they learned this year, and they did make an agreement that they have a 3-year type of agreement, and they're going to do it again next year. And I think it'll be bigger, and it'll be better, and more money for the city. And I think we'll end up getting more sponsors. They sent me a picture of Independent Bowl attendance, and I knew what the kickoff classic, we called it in Shreveport. I knew what that attendance was, and everybody agreed. They told me this is 30 years of work in the Independence Bowl. Now look at this game here. This is 1 year that we did in the Independence Bowl. You know, and our crowd was just as big or bigger than the Independence Bowl.
Wow. So it's pretty much of course I know, you think big, so it pretty much was a successful opening game for the future of that game.
Oh yeah, and even me as a company, I went overboard, and salaries that I was making, I spent a good portion of that to make it even better, because they were trying to tell me where I need to advertise. I didn't want to go against the city, the mayor, sports commission. And I'm saying, they said, well, you need to advertise in Texarkana. They got new highway. People can get from Texarkana in 45 minutes. Man, I looked at the numbers to see if I had any ticket sales in Texarkana. I should have took that money, took my first thought, and spent more money in East Texas.
Absolutely.
East Texas had more tickets sold out of Longview, Marshall, Tyler than in Texarkana, and it would have been cheaper to advertise in East Texas than in Texarkana.
One thing I do know, if you put a bus on it that's going to the casino, you can advertise in Waco and they'll come to the game. It all depends on how you market it and who you market to.
Those times are kind of, it's not what it used to be when the casinos was new.
Okay.
When the casinos population, they had maybe about 10 casinos down there when they first opened up. I think right now they only have maybe 5 casinos.
Really?
They all are shut down. The economy is not what it used to be.
Mm.
Yeah, it was people in the casino and they're gambling, but it's not like 25 years, 30 years ago, and we had better crowds when we were playing Alcorn and Grambling and Arkansas at Pine Bluff at Grambling. We had better crowds back then than we have today. We was doing 30,000 people back then.
Yeah. Al, what is if you can remember in your 50 years of putting this game on, what is the farthest place where people have bought tickets and actually came to the classic game?
We sell tickets for this classic game. We sell tickets in Alaska, Canada, Mexico, Maine, Iowa. I mean, there's some cities that I didn't even believe there was black people in there. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we have a big population coming from there. And they're not on no buses. They got to be flying in or get there some kind of way to get out of there and get back home. We got Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. They're coming from everywhere. We're not doing the numbers just in Dallas alone. We advertise throughout Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana, but social media reach everywhere.
Wow. That's some of the farthest way that people have bought tickets and actually came to the game.
Oh, every year. Every year, I pull a report almost every 2 weeks to tell me where I'm selling tickets at on Ticketmaster. That's just monitoring Ticketmaster. That's not monitoring alumni that might be in these markets and will call the university and say, I need 5 tickets, 2 tickets, put it on my credit card. And they have them on their telephone, but I can monitor and tell. I get a report at the end of the game showing what percentage out of the Texas market, or I can say even in the Texas, Louisiana, and where they coming from, and that's what lets me know where to spend my money.
Mr. Wash, this is my last question, and I don't even know if you can give me an answer. How do you?
I can give you one.
How do you provide multiple concert venues, provide entrance to the fair, and entrance to the game, all for $40 in 2025?
Because it's a vested interest from all those people to make this work. The fair kick in money, the city kicks in money, all the corporate sponsors, they kick in money. They want the people to come. And we designed the concert not knowing, but we designed the concert years ago and put it at the beginning of the game out on the fair to get the attendance in there early. Because you know us, at 6 o'clock kickoff, we'll wait till 5:45 and think we're going to walk into the stadium with 400,000 people out there on the fairground. Man, these people are stuck in traffic. They get into the game by the halftime. They get mad and hollering at me. Oh, man, I want my money back. Halftime is over with. The game is almost, we've been in traffic. You're in traffic because you leave home late.
Yeah.
You can't just pop your fingers and be in that stadium. So it's vested interest for the fair to absorb some of that money, the cost for the talent. They give us money to help offset our costs. Because if I got 50,000 people in that fair, everything's on coupons. So how many people leaving out of there with coupons still in their pocket? And they say, well, I'm going to come back next week or something. They never come back. I always end up where you can't use them the next year. So if you got 50,000 people times $100, at least you're going to spend, which if you got kids, if you just by yourself, you're going to spend $100 on that fairground. $100 times 50,000, you calculate that.
That's $5 million by my math. But
Texas OU tickets are $150 a person. And they got 94,000 seats in the Cotton Bowl times $150.
Wow. Now you're able to do all of this, Mr. Wash, and write both schools a fat check. That's almost.
Oh yeah, it would. It wouldn't be. They get a fat check, and I get a little bitty fat check. It's business, It's not a one-way street. So if they can make money, and they make more money, I would say that game paid out more money for HBCU game and even over and beyond the Bayou Classic. Probably more than the Birmingham game. I guarantee you the school took home more money than those, and they both the same distance from here.
And is let me ask you this here. Is the Birmingham ticket $40 and the fair?
I don't know what Birmingham tickets are. I don't know I know the Bayou Classic tickets are a little higher. So, but I think another thing is we're a general admission house, so we got reserved seats, so that makes a difference. when you do reserve seats, you got to have ushers, ticket takers. You got to have a lot of staffing to make that work. You know, you might have an additional 100,000 or more in just ushers to try to keep them. But our game was designed as a general admission house, and you know, and it's an event. You know, some of them gonna leave out and go to the fair and walk the fair, and you know, if the game get out of hand, and you know, even if it's a close game, we have a lot of activities going on for them to see.
You know, like I say, we got there about 1 o'clock, man, and it was more than enough activities to keep us busy and engaged all the way up to about 4:30, 5 o'clock when we started moving toward the stadium itself, and we were able to get in there with no problem, and be there with, you know, in plenty of time for kickoff. So if you're playing properly, it can be a very pleasant, you know, eventful evening. You know, but you're right. You can't, because even us getting there at 1, we had at least 30 minutes of traffic just outside the stadium that we had to navigate. And I'm sure it was much more than that the later you arrived at the stadium.
Oh, no doubt about that. And you didn't even know where you was going. So
yeah,
if you got in there in 30 minutes, but if you got there at 1 o'clock, that was a good time anyway.
Yeah. And they had plenty staff, it was plenty parking. We were able to park up close. You know, it was like I say, it was really nice. It was really easy peasy get in there. And then you don't have to worry about getting out of there because it's such an event going on that night. It's time to get your turkey leg. It's time to get your fried Snicker. It's time to get down. For me, it was time for me to get a cigar. Like I say, I wasn't in no rush to leave. And especially after Prairie View had that last second victory, it was sure enough time to have a good time.
But last year went into 5 overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game lasted all night.
I almost missed my turkey leg because of that, Al.
Well, a lot of people, when they come, they'll bring their little ice chest, and they have special places where they buy their turkey leg, and they'll say, look, I want 10 turkey legs, and they'll know to call the people early, and they put their name on their box, and them people put them 10 turkey legs in there, and when they come out of there, they go by there and get them 10 turkey legs, and they take them back to Killeen, Shreveport, you know, and boy, man, them turkey legs is the talk of the fair.
Now let me ask you this here, Al. You mentioned Killeen, and I noticed when I went there last year that so many guys that I was in the military with just happened to be up there at the game. Do you have a special promoter or is it a good turnout from Killeen? And that's at least 150, almost 160 miles away from Dallas. So what is there a good turnout from that area?
From Dallas. It's about 2.5 hour drive from that from Dallas, and I sell about 2,000 tickets in the Killeen, Hawker Heights, and Fort Hood. You had a big military base there, and those people are looking for places to go on weekends. They want to get away for a weekend, especially where they can take their families. So Killeen is probably outside of Dallas. Killeen and Houston is probably my best markets that I'm selling tickets in.
Well, it looks like it's going to be an exciting weekend. I know this is your busiest time. You know, we always appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge and wisdom on this HBCU deal. I mean, we're just glad to have you a part. We want to make sure that, you know, we all HBCU guys, that you get your flowers while you're on top, not on the bottom. Campbell, I know you came in late. Is there some things that you want to share?
No, you know, Mr. Wash has always been a leader, and and I'll talk about this. I know we don't want. I know you guys been on a long time, but I am going to talk about something that he said historic when he said about the Negro Day, and it made me, think about something. And I'll talk because we don't want to hold Mr. Wash up, but I want people to understand how far we've come. And I think, we take for granted. We got a lot of great young people that listen to this show. I'm proud of some of these guys that interact with, very smart. They're going to carry the torch. But I think sometimes we forget how far we've come and the people that have laid it right, because, and just real quick, my mother and them in Jackson, it was the same thing at the fair. They could only go to the fair on Tuesday. They had one day for everybody black in Jackson to go on the fair, and that was on a Tuesday. And to hear that, how that was all over the South, and to now to see that we have a black man in a stadium that at one time we couldn't go to on the weekend, that just makes me very proud. And Mr. Wash, I salute you for that. But I want also our young people to know that it's people like you that have trailblazed so they can be able to be the next Al Wash.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Al. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Good love. I'll see you definitely on Friday and call you and make sure that we hang out and, get the right stuff up in your suite this time now.
All right, I will.
All right.
And, thank you, Al. And I'll give you a call probably tomorrow, and then we'll catch up.
All right. Thank you very much, and thank all of y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Al.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right.
And we're going to play this one more time before we get out of here. I think it's, let me play it one more again.
There's never been an artist with this many hit songs. September 27th. They're coming. It's TLC, the Farewell Tour, live at the State Fair Classic. And this year, we're keeping it 100. The 100th anniversary State Fair Classic. You don't want to miss this one. Live on the Chevy main stage. The post-game concert with the legends.
Hey, we
At
don't
a
have
price where you can afford to bring the entire family. TLC in their farewell tour at State Fair Classic. Saturday, September 27th, Dallas Cotton Bowl. Sponsored by the City of Dallas Sports Commission, State Fair of Texas, Pepsi, Pipkin Law Firm, and ALW Entertainment. Tickets at the Grambling Athletic Ticket Office and Ticketmaster.
Hey, we're going to have to get them backstage passes.
Hey, those ladies from Atlanta are coming down, man, and it's sure to be a good time, man. TLC is a legendary R&B group, and definitely he hit a home run this time with that kind of entertainment.
Yeah, almost.
All right, guys, we're gonna get through this, guys. We're gonna go through the MEAC. Go through the little CIAA, and then of course we're gonna walk through the SWAC. But with the MEAC, I'll just go ahead and start. And let me go ahead and put Johnny Thornton up here because he want me to recognize this, and so I'm gonna do him a favor. Johnny's my man, and I don't have no problem with Johnny, and I'm gonna give people they flowers when they earn them. All right. So. We had Howard and Morehouse. Anything surprise you guys there in that game? Does that look like how it's supposed to be, guys? Or I thought it was in keeping with how it's supposed to be. I was interested to find out that they played that game in MetLife Stadium. I hadn't seen any attendance numbers, but what do you guys think about that? Is that something that they have all the time there, or do they rotate that game? How does that?
The second or third year they played that up in MetLife, I believe.
Yes.
So so this is not something new. I think they played that game up there in MetLife last year, or if they didn't, it was in that soccer stadium. But I know they played in New Jersey last year. And guys, like I said, we got our MEAC Mike in there. They can correct that if I'm wrong on that.
All right. So next one, we got the Fighting Deshaun Jacksons played Bowie State. They had a good showing. They were able to, they jumped on Bowie State early, and they just kind of walked through the rest of the game. Coach, you got anything to say about that celebrity coach who's turning out to be a pretty darn good coach so far?
I'm gonna say again, I'm watching. They supposed to jump on Boyd State. I think he's doing some different things that Delaware State is used to. They were used to probably either struggle with Boyd and sometimes even lose. Now I've been at Boyd. I went there last year to see what they got and what they up and coming. Again, taking nothing away from Deshaun Jackson. He's actually doing what he's supposed to do. When you come in as a 1A football team, you're supposed to beat these Division II teams, without a doubt. I mean, you're talking about 63 full scholarships to 36. And I'm not sure if Boyd got 36 and really not sure if Delaware State got all 63. But you do have more. You should be able to come in there and win those games. And I think he's doing that. I think the other thing off the field is that they've put together a good schedule. And see, that's one thing about the MEAC and different from the SWAC. The SWAC open up sometime playing each other, and there's more teams in the SWAC. So the MEAC have an opportunity, for 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks of just playing anybody. So my hat goes off only to Deshaun Jackson, but also the athletic director. Depends on who's scheduled to put together a good schedule. Let's get some wins. And then those wins motivate them players. We'll see when he start getting to the thick of his schedule.
Okay, we had this game here. We had Norfolk State travel to Rutgers. It seemed like they were having a tussle for a minute, and then in the second half, Rutgers really opened it up. It was 13-0, and then 26-3 going into halftime, and then Rutgers opened up a can in the second half and beat them 10-60. It's funny. I was surprised by this game right here, by Morgan State losing to Toledo 60-0. But Coach, what do you think about those two games? And
don't be surprised. When I was at the University of Cincinnati, we played Toledo, and they actually upset us like 52-55. Toledo has a great winning program. Nick Saban worked up there and won the MEAC one time. Toledo has a great program up there, the Rockets. Like I told you guys last week, my nephew is the running back coach there, and he said that they was going to open up a can of whoop ass out in that game. So 60-0 doesn't surprise me.
All right, Coach. We got Bethune-Cookman in South Carolina State. I think this is the only HBCU. Well, this was the only Division I HBCU matchup in the MEAC this past week, and it looked like South Carolina State got off to an amazing start, and then once they got up, they were actually up like 41. Looked like they were up 41-13 going into the fourth, and and Bethune-Cookman scored 28 points in the second half. I didn't get a chance to watch any of this game. Did either of you guys?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. South Carolina State was dominant. Looking at the stats, and the stat will tell you where they were.
Well, Coach, looking at the stats will tell you one thing, but watching tells you another. And I'm gonna tell you this. This game was very interesting. And Cam Ransom, who was second team all SWAC, showed why they had him preseason, because he went for a 300-yard game and 4 touchdowns and almost ran for 100 and did 89 yards. It looks like, and Coach Chinsbury has kind of solidified that Ryan Stubblefield is going to be his guy because he went for 286. This game was very interesting because one of the things that in the first half was a tale of two halves. South Carolina State doing South Carolina State things, defensive line dominate the game, getting turnovers, making a lot of big plays. But all of a sudden, Bethune-Cookman woke up, and they started showing some potential that I didn't think anybody thought that they had. So they started running the ball real well, almost did for 200 yards. Of course, they threw for 300 yards. The defense kind of stiffened up a little bit, if you want to call giving up 28 points in the second half, stiffening up, but they were making plays, and that's how they kind of got into the game. So I know South Carolina State, I was told they kind of rotate some of the guys in and out, got some of the younger guys to play. But this bodes well for Bethune-Cookman because, unfortunately, they've looked really bad. and they didn't see any progress. But I saw something. We'll see what happens. I think they got Grambling next or coming up, and they have been a boogeyman, Red Rock, as you like to say, to Grambling. And Grambling, as we know, we'll talk about them. They did not look good against Kentucky State, so we'll see what happens.
Well, when you look up the score, they was up 41-10 going into the fourth quarter, and actually scored 14 more points in the fourth quarter, where they scored 28. Yeah. So really, they only came within 14 points. We really scored 14 points. But hey, any progress for Bethune-Cookman is progress, and I get it. You're right about that.
Yeah, and I think Coach Woody is making progress out the door, in my opinion. But
yes,
y'all go ahead and you can frame it however you want to. Now, I usually don't want to highlight this, but because this game features the HBCU Player of the Week, okay, sponsored by Johnnie Thornton. Thank you, Johnny, for the donation, and we certainly appreciate it. I don't know what we're going to do with all that $1.99, but we do know that YouTube is going to get 99 of it. But here we go. Walker Harris was 23 of 36 for 387 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception. All right. He had a marvelous game against a winless D2 opponent. I just wanted to mention that. Anything you guys like to say about it?
Well, I think it's good, games like this, for the kid. He's played against some good football team before. He gets his confidence back. Sometimes, playing quarterback myself, you got people drop balls, you got things that happen, especially when a kid handles the ball 100% of the time. So good for Harris, good for North Carolina Central to get his confidence back up. Again, they grade open up with the real people. We'll really see how he plays. So congratulations to Harris and North Carolina Central.
All right, we'll go through these just briefly. South Carolina plays D1 South Florida. I don't see much happening in that game. Now, this is something. I'll pause here because this is in Coach Cole's neck of the woods. A winless Central team is going to be playing Morgan State. Coach, do you have anything interesting to offer as far as context with this game?
No, I've watched Central State on film. They just an up and coming team. I don't see Morgan State having a problem with them. Benedict Burley beat them last week, but I don't see Morgan State having a problem with Central State.
So, and I'll let Campbell handle this one because this is the Fighting Deshaun Jacksons against St. Francis. What do you expect in this game, Campbell?
Hey, man, St. Francis, has not won a game. This is 101. Can Deshaun Jackson pull off another? And St. Francis, like I say, I was looking at this game, and let me just tell you something about St. Francis. Lost the game 29-0 against Louisiana Monroe. Lost against Buffalo 45-6. Lost against CCSU 7-31. That lets you know they're not scoring any points. Once again, this might be one of those games, once again, that I think Delaware State should be favored and win. And these are games that you're seeing that I think Deshaun Jackson's going to start stacking up wins that are going to allow him to have a winning season.
Yeah. I want, while we own this Deshaun Jackson, I've had his team reach out to me, and we're trying to right now work with Deshaun on getting him on our show, as well as Michael Vick. So that's coming soon. I know everybody is like, oh, well, Cole, you're not with the celebrity coaches. But that's okay. We're gonna get them on because they are it is what it is. So right now I'm in touch with their team. Matter of fact, their team called me today to see what's a good time. We also will bring Brian Jenkins on at Edward Waters. I think are we gonna talk about them a little bit? Are that coming up?
Yeah. They play Bethune-Cookman, so we're gonna talk about them. Okay. So before we move on, I just want to say this to ask Campbell this. What surprises you most about Deshaun Jackson's team early on?
I'm going to be honest with you. The quarterback play. I think that quarterback has played and kept them on schedule. I think what I also like, and this is where, let me see how to say this. We've got a lot of great coaches, but then I think there is a hard line of our great coaches, and then there's a line that are coaches that are trying to aspire to be a good coach. Deshaun Jackson, you can see not a lot of penalties, team very disciplined, playing on schedule. I just like the way they're playing. I like the energy. I like what he's doing. And like I said, I think he looks the part. I think he's coaching the part. I think his staff, which again, I was kind of shocked to see, some of the guys that he put on it that were able to, that he brought in, they're coaching those guys up. And like I say, again, they're going to be a dangerous out. They're going to be a tough out, so, you better look and see where those games are going to be played at when they play Central and when they play on South Carolina, because they're going to be a tough out.
Let me ask you this, Coach, and then we'll move on. How much is Deshaun Jackson's, as you evaluate coaches, how much of his success is coaching versus a function of who he's playing?
I think it's a combination of both. And I actually went back to the teams that he has beaten. A total of 2 wins between 3 of the teams that he has beaten. So it's a combination of both. Like I said, what I look at a first-year coach is what are the changes that he's making with Delaware State. I think what I like about it is the face look. It's the way they come out. It's the way they look. It's the way they dress. It's the way they play. You know what I mean? So that it's not surprising. Well, it's surprising to me that a first-year guy came in, and those are some of the things that he paid attention to. That means that he's paying attention to the small things, which I grade him on that's a good deal. But yet, he hadn't yet started playing the tough teams, as I say, when the conference open up. So, again, I'm watching. It's good to watch. I think it's a good thing, and I think he's on the right track, because it can fall off, and we will see what's going on. And it ain't about the beginning of the season; it's what you do at the end.
Okay, Coach. As we move on, before we move on to this game, I want to look at something that I don't think either one of us saw. Nobody on this panel saw. Is this result right here, Coach? I wasn't able to see the game, but I had it on my game tracker because I was watching how this game unfold. I thought Hampton had taken control of the game, so to speak. But then I look up the game, it's 20-20, Coach. What did you see here?
Well, it don't surprise me, man. I mean, when you get a good guy in there, a good fit, and Campbell knows this. We talk about good fit. We was looking for a good fit at Florida A&M. A good fit. Coach is a good fit for North Carolina A&T. You can see the relationships. I've been watching some clips of his team, the relationships of his kids. He's just the perfect fit for there. And I look for him to get it going in the right system, because he's going to do 2 things, Rocky. He's going to make sure they play great defense, and they're going to run that football. It ain't going to be throwing that football all around, fumbling ball, snapping over the head. And, he's a disciplinarian. And he has a very close relationship with not only those football players, the alumni. He's been there before. He's a part of the great years. He has the old players coming back. No different from when Dion started turning and having his professional athletes. That's what you get. It's just the right fit. And it doesn't surprise me. And I look for him to win a couple more.
All right, Coach. But as we talk about that, we have to also look at this one right here. And Howard and Hampton coming up next week. I don't know the history behind this game, but it's old MEAC foes taking it, mixing it up on HBCU Go. at in DC. What do you think about this game, and who do you guys think will come out as victorious?
I like Hampton. I think they'll put things together. Once again, over in the MEAC, you get to play a lot of preseason games before your conference actually play. Howard over Morehouse this past week, it wasn't really a hard game. Coming back playing a soft team, then coming back and playing a strong team. We'll see how they respond to it.
Someone calls this the Endowment Bowl, I guess. Now, this one right here, from what I understand, Coach, this one is pretty nasty right here, Coach. This is definitely rivals. Some would say big brother against little brother. How do you see this one?
Well, you got two guys have worked with each other, two guys who have know each other real good. You got, it's the Eagle Classic.
Eagle Aggie Classic, they call it.
Yeah, I better say Aggie too. Classic. You can throw the records out. It's going to be a barn burner. I don't think it's going to be a close one. Let me say that. It's going to be a very close football game, because each other don't only know each other, they know each other's teams as well.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, Coach. With Walker Harris starting for North Carolina, I don't see how A&T is going to stay in this game. Okay. With him doing all that work against Fayetteville State last week, he's probably just going to continue his hot streak and blow these guys out as well. Because Walker Harris, now that he played Fayetteville State, he's now like that.
Yeah, well, you're comparing apples to oranges to North Carolina A&T and Fayetteville State. I'm not going to downplay North Carolina A&T, the new North Carolina A&T. He's going to have to come out and play. And it's going to be a big and a tough game. And, we talk about Harris. Harris is a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. The thing that Harris has to do is to make sure that he has it, that he makes the plays to extend plays, and he makes where he has to get out of there and get them 2 or 3, 4 yards to make a first down. That's what I want to see Harris does. Yeah, he had a great game against Fayetteville State. The kid can throw the football, pinpoint it, But the thing about quarterbacks, like I told you, it's completions and it's winning football games. And a QB has to make his team win football games.
Yeah, Coach, now that he played Fayetteville State, he's a generational talent, and he can't be stopped. Go ahead, Campbell. Do you have anything on this since you are our historian?
Yeah, I've got a few things. And the shade, that tree shade is very good. So here's the thing. Walker Harris went for 4 touchdowns this game last year. They scored 66 points. And I think that Trey Oliver does not want to get any momentum started with North Carolina A&T, because I give A&T credit. One thing, they won the game last week. Hampton kind of let their foot off the gas last 2 minutes again. I think they kind of got a little bit overconfident. The game is over, and North Carolina played all the way through the whistle. So I give that's good to Coach Cole. That's good coaching. But I'm telling you one thing. I don't think Central's going to give them any quarter. I think they're going to try to put another 6 points on them, and I think it's going to get ugly real quick.
All right. Coach, I tend to agree with you, Campbell. I don't think this will be competitive. I think Trey Oliver has a program over there in North Carolina, and I don't suspect he'll give the upstarts of North Carolina A&T any room to breathe in this game. He's going to put his foot on their neck, and he's going to keep it on there all night long, in my opinion.
So y'all betting against the coach? Okay.
Yeah. Well, like I say, Sean Gibbs is a friend of the show, and we are definitely rooting for him. I have to acknowledge.
I'm talking about me. Y'all two going against me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Coach, we have to acknowledge that Trey Oliver is the best coach in HBCU football, in my opinion.
I would not argue with you on that.
So with that being the case, you know, I think he'll be able to handle this situation. And at the end of the day, North Carolina A&T is playing with a six-string quarterback, right?
Yeah.
You know, because they lost three of them when they played. I forget who they played, but they played somebody who knocked out three of the quarterback. So, the last game in the MEAC this week is Norfolk State and Sacred Heart. You know, I don't know who will win this game. I'm going to take Norfolk State because I really believe it's time for Vic and his staff to play a solid game and defeat a Division I team. I believe that they have the talent, but for whatever reason, up to this point, they haven't been able to put it together. But I expect them to beat Sacred Heart. What do you guys think?
Well, Sacred Heart, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's an independent. And I saw that they had won one, lost one, beat Long Island, and I think beat Lehigh. You know, this is one of those ones I think Coach Vic needs a victory like this. This is one of those games that I think he needs victory. I tell you one thing too, and correct me if I'm wrong. This game is in Norfolk, right? They've been averaging. Hey man, he's been putting 20,000 people in that barn. I like that. So again, I think the crowd support is there. I think this is one of those games that they want to really get a good showing, and they really have not had a good showing all season. So maybe this is where they start.
They need to start with Otto.
Yeah. So that's what I think. So I think maybe come out strong, get the crowd into it, get the band rocking and rolling, and things like that. So I'm gonna go with Norfolk.
What about you, Coach?
You know, he's playing against a team that is not going to make a lot of mistakes. I think it'll be a close game. I think athletic-wise, Norfolk got the athletes, but you got to put it all together, and the team that makes the less mistakes usually win the football games. So I'm gonna go with Sacred Heart.
All right, Coach. We're gonna be able to whiz through this, Coach, because last week it was a bunch of blacks against the whites, and we know how they usually turn out. And some D2s against D1s. We know how they usually turn out. So Tuskegee and Jackson State, I know you watched this game, Campbell. I didn't, but people are saying that somehow Jackson State struggled in a 30-0 game. I don't see how that happens, but can you kind of make it make sense?
Well, I did watch the game, and I think what I'm going to I'm going to say this. T.C. Taylor's building a bomb over there, and he didn't play a lot of starters. He put a freshman quarterback in to give that kid some reps. Kid went out there and threw, I think, for like 289 yards, if I'm correct, 269 yards, something like that, real quick. And, you know, the defense shut them out. Hey, when you don't let somebody score, you win the football game. So, yeah, Lockhart went for 257. That's what it was, 257. So, hey, none of the big guys played. I mean, I think Jackson State played down in their competition. They could have probably scored 50 on if they wanted. But I think they played a little bit down in the competition. But I like what T.C. Taylor said in the coach's press conference. He said, listen, we had guys that made mistakes, and on Sunday they were out there with Coach O, and they were running. So I think he has that team focused. So, again, you know, people want these people to put 70, 80 points on it, but it's not going to happen. I mean, 30 points is good for them, and they got out with a victory.
Coach Cole, I'll let you did you want to say anything about the Jackson State Tuskegee game, Coach, before we move on?
30-0 and beating Tuskegee is big. Tuskegee is a perennial winning program. It's tough. You know, of course, you know, I played them at Tuskegee. I lost to them at Texas Southern. Beating Tuskegee, Coach James and them, Aaron James and them, they got a good program over there. So should I take my eye off to Jackson State, going in there and beating them 30-0?
All right, Coach. Now this one right here, Coach, I did watch this game here. And it seems to me that Prairie View was, now this may sound kind of weird to say this. It seemed like physically they were on equal footing. But when it came to the crucial plays, they just weren't able to make them to the point to where they ended up, you know, basically getting blew out 17-38. And I'll have to ask you guys, as HBCU guys, is this a good showing? I know they usually don't win these games, but is this a good showing by Prairie View?
I think it's a great showing. I mean, anytime you play in a Division 1A football team, again, they got 85 scholarships plus, and you got 63 full. Their facilities are much better. I should say much better because Prairie View has improved theirs. But I thought they were in this game at times. The game they just couldn't get over the hump. I think they found Prairie, and I'm speaking of Prairie View. I think they found the quarterback. I think they're gonna go with, that's where you want to be. At Prairie View losing a game, 38-17. You right in that football game. So I'm impressed with it. And again, everybody's about to get in the thick of things.
What do you think, Campbell?
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I could care less about this game, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because the game that they're playing next week is important. They're playing Northwestern State. Prairie View has to win that game, point blank, period. So they got out of this game not injured. Looks like like I said, they're going back and forth. The quarterback looks like they're going to go with the kid Carter. So I'm just saying this. I think they need to be focused and not worry about this game because that loss, and I expect a lot out of Coach Jackson. I do not expect them to lose that game. So they need to be focused and win that game. So that's my point on that.
Yeah. All right, guys. This next one was a barn burner. I watched probably 95% of this game. I was really impressed with Cornelius Brown. I was also impressed with McNair, the Tennessee State quarterback. But it seems like he had one good quarter, and they couldn't muster much offense coming out of halftime against Alabama A&M. I'm telling you, Coach Shade, he was able to make some defensive adjustments that really stifled what would look like a prolific offense by Tennessee State in the second quarter. What did you guys think about this game?
Well, I'm surprised they just scored 21 because they got my guys over there, and Torino Morgan and Harris being the offensive coordinator. So I'm a little upset that they're going to only pull off 21 points and not score enough to win this football game. But then again, I can't say enough about Sam Shade and his staff. They're going to play good defense, and they're going to run the football. So going in this game, I know that, and Tennessee State was up, and they had a couple of series that they could have made, stretched it a little bit, and they weren't able to. So I'm a little disappointed at those coordinators, and I'm gonna call Coach Morgan and get on them cats, man. They supposed to win this football game.
And it's surprising if you look at the game. Tennessee State controlled the line, controlled the ball. They had the least amount of penalties. They were able to rush the ball where A&M really struggled to run. They had an interception that they threw, and they were able to hold Alabama A&M to 3 of 12 on fourth down, and they were slightly under 50% on third down efficiency themselves. If you look at the stat line, this game, there's a lot about this game that you would say it looks like Tennessee State should have won the game, but with a ball control passing game, it looked like Alabama A&M was able to win the game. And how many times, and I'll ask you guys, how many times as a SWAC quarterback have you seen a team win a game with a ball control passing game?
I think that's how you win football games. If you can complete passes, that means you're moving the chain. And if you have that, then that's a plus for you.
Yeah. You like I say, we've had some guys be able to run the football. We had some dual threats, but we really haven't had a guy like Cornelius Brown did the other day in the SWAC in a long time. Probably since Shador, huh? They could really control a game through.
And I don't want to
with-
start nothing. You had Harris throw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, but this kid was 21 for 33 with 329 and 2 TDs and no interceptions. And
Yes.
won the football game and played against a great program that was on their level. And
What are you hitting at, Coach?
And this kid is consistent. No, I'm not hitting on nothing. I'm just making sure that if we're gonna tell it, let's tell it the right way.
Yeah.
No, nothing away from nobody. I'm just showing this kid's accolades.
Absolutely.
I mean, look when we go to Alabama State, look what Body done in a
Let's
short
look at
time.
it. Let's look at it. Body threw it 16 times, had 14 completions for 250 for 251 and 4 touchdowns.
TD, and didn't play in the second half. I mean, what we talking about? And Body has thrown 10 touchdowns in 3 games. 10. So and did they put down what he rushed?
Well, you got, because I don't know what he rushed, but that's what AB does.
Yeah,
he ran 7 times for 60 yards.
Yeah, I was looking at that. That's almost another 400 yards total offense.
Yeah, that's a day's work.
Come on, Camel, stat man.
Well, listen, I want to go back to that Alabama A&M and Tennessee State game. First of all, I think we got to give Coach Barlow more credit because, Coach, you said this is a great program, but he did not take over a great program. He took over a team that was gutted. He took over a team that he had to, in the summer, find players. And the fact that he's got this team competitive, which a lot of people didn't think was going to be competitive, says a lot about his coaching ability. Now, I want to talk about, Rocky, you talked about the third down official. Let me tell you something about this game, and I watched this whole game to the time. Hey, one thing about that quarterback, they kept that team on schedule. So one of the things that you saw was a lot of first and second downs that turned into first downs. Yeah. Another thing, too, what you got to say, and I'm going to give them a nickname. Hey, that Alabama A&M, that get shady defense got shady in the second half. And I really starting to see Sam Shea, what you starting to see the confidence in his players, and you starting to see that camaraderie that he's bringing in with some of those guys from Miles and some of the guys that wanted to be at A&M. You're starting to see that. So
you said A&M's defense got shady in the second half?
I'm giving them a new nickname. They get shady defense.
Oh, you mean good? They got good.
Yeah.
You know what happened, Coach, and is that the defensive line in the first half was penetrating, right? And the running backs were able to find creases by Tennessee State. Ryan was able to find some creases. In the second half, they kind of played like at the line of scrimmage, and Tennessee State couldn't run the ball at all. They didn't penetrate as much, but they just held them at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
and
I know that running the O-line coach over there, he worked for me during our championship years at Tennessee State. And they got Coach, I want to say his name is Greg Anderson, the defensive coordinator. He likes to apply a lot of pressure. That's his thing. When he coached with the New Orleans Saints, he was the one that had the what was it? Special
the bounty.
Team. The bounty.
Yeah.
He was the coach behind that, and I've seen his display. He likes to bring a lot of pressure, and they were pretty much prepared for that because A&M has NFL coaches on their staff as well. So they were very prepared for that.
Yeah, they were well schooled, well drilled on that.
Right.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was a really good game. Then Alcorn, Mississippi State, we know what that is. Lincoln, California, and Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's not worth mentioning. We already talked about Bethune-Cookman and South Carolina State. But this game right here, Grambling and Kentucky State, some people would say Grambling stole a game from Kentucky State. I don't agree, but it was a questionable call made to end the ball game. But Coach, what do you think about the G-men taking Kentucky State to overtime?
You asking me?
Ain't you the coach?
That don't look good at all. It don't, and then it makes so bad they trail some of the game. But on any given Saturday, a team can come out and do its best. I'm pretty sure Coach Mickey Joseph glad that he got out of that. I know it's some work that they got to do, but that doesn't look good at all on the home team. That Grambling struggled with Kentucky State and had to win in overtime. But sometimes things happen. I know he'll get back and put things together and see where they were soft-fed or whether they weren't playing Grambling football. But hey, man, at the end of the day, a win is a win.
Now, Campbell, where is the Grambling program at, Campbell?
Well, I'm going to disagree, but I'm going to shout out Coach Huggins. Now, Coach Huggins, and we just had a guest on this show, is from Doug Williams' hometown, Zachary, Louisiana. They said he had half that town down there rooting for him. So that means he knows a little bit of something about Grambling. He played down there in Louisiana. He knows about that G. So I think he had those guys motivated. I'm going to say this, and I think Coach Joseph is a fine coach, but they got to figure something out because this is not the Grambling standard for the fact. And this might, if they would have lost this game, and Coach, you correct me if I'm wrong, this could have been one of the worst losses in Grambling history to a Kentucky State team. I'm sorry. This is Grambling University, Grambling University, I guess that's what they're called. And for them to have had, Kentucky State had this game won. I want people to understand this. This game was won. And unfortunately, the quarterback, he slid just a little bit too short. They went with the right play. They kicked the field goal. Grambling came back. Great job by Grambling's offense to come back tie the game, to get it into overtime. But I will tell you this. I was disappointed to see this because Kentucky State had this game under control all the way through. And just to see what Grambling played, I just don't like it. And again, I want Grambling to be Grambling. And I know Coach Joseph is going to get them on the right track, but I think this is one of those wake-up games that I think, hey, when he came back in and looked at that film, I think he's going to tell these players this is not up to the Grambling standard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I agree with you, Coach. I agree with you, Campbell, and I think they should be concerned down in the hole. Really concerned. These last two games, Coach, I know everybody thought that Mississippi Valley and Texas Southern would have a better showing against their Southland Conference foes. Aren't both these teams in the Southland Conference?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it looks like, it was never a game for Texas Southern and Mississippi Valley. They got it put on them pretty early too. So it just seems like, for whatever reason, the SWAC schools never show up in these games.
Hey, they kind of take on some of the SWAC teams knowing that they're gonna win. Unfortunately they do. But we got to continue to get better. We keep on turning over coaches. You got Chris Dishman in his second year at Lamar, and Coach Buckley first year at Valley. So, when you keep starting over and not building continuity, this is what happens.
Campbell, you want to say anything about this?
Well, I think this was a little bit of a setback for Valley. I think when you listen to Coach Buckley, he kind of talked about that, and that he said he wants guys that want to be on the bus. And I think, once again, when you got guys that know, and like Dion said, knows what it looks like, Coach Buckley knows what winning and how to get to be a winning program looks like because he played in the winning program. He played for Bill Belichick. He knows what it looks like. I think this is one of those games that he had a gut check. He said he played some guys, some younger guys. So I think that, Bo, sometimes when you have a loss like this, it allows you to see the character of some of your players. So I think that's what he's going to utilize on that. Now, the Lamar game, I was really shocked by that. And I think Coach Dishman, like I say, listen to the coach core, he was shocked. He was definitely upset. He said this is not what he signed up for. So when I hear a coach say this is not what he signed up for, then the question is, what did you sign up for? And if you did sign up for, what are you going to do to change that? Because now you're getting ready to go into SWAC play. So again, your players are a reflection of who and what you are. So if you didn't sign up for, then that is for your players to then sign up for whatever that you want them to sign up for, which I'm assuming is being winning and playing hard.
You know, statistically, this game looked really winnable for Texas Southern, considering that the opposing quarterback only threw for 81 yards.
Well, see, the issue is they played Lamar tough last year. Now, how do you take that? Do you take it that Lamar improved and Texas Southern didn't? Or do you prove that Lamar, it was just a bad game for Lamar last year, but they still pulled out the win? It doesn't look good for Texas Southern at all. You know what I'm saying? Saying if we were close last year, then we should got better. They got better. They blocked 2 punts. Special teams, they blocked 2 punts early in the game and put them up 28-7 at halftime. And after that, they didn't get nothing else. You know, Lamar went on to score. You know, I told you guys when Lamar beat South Dakota State, even though South Dakota State at the time didn't win, they beat a great program. That means that Lamar University's football program improved tremendously.
Yeah.
You know, I'm hearing some things down in Texas Southern about what's going on there and in that football program, and it's not good. But hopefully, like you say, that Coach Dishman can pull them back together. You know, I think the thing that Coach Dishman need, and because he's a young head coach, is he's got to hold his emotions in on what he think and feel about the program. And it's almost like what he think and feel about the whole aspect of Texas Southern University, period. You know, it's went from the alumni, now it's going to the team. You know, that's not good in that locker room. And hopefully he can pull that and fix that before they get going through the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah. Now, these last 2 games, I'm sure Campbell had a very close interest in this game. This game surprisingly was very competitive in the first half. And the first half ended with FAMU being behind. Campbell, at that point in the game, what were you thinking, or how surprised were you when Albany was leading 14-10?
Well, let me say this, and I told everybody, because, you know, let me tell you what's funny, what I like about this community that we're a part of. We got a lot of people that don't know football but like to just say stuff, and that's fine. And I told all these jokers, if any of you all want to put any money on this game, I had $1,000 that I was ready to give away. I wasn't worried about us losing the game. What I was worried about was how we played the game. There's 2 different things. I never thought that we were going to lose this game, but I wanted to see how we were going to play the game. So that was my concern. So you come in there and you know Coach Gray, hey, listen, and I'm going to say this, man. Coach Gray, probably he's a rattler. He wants this job potentially in the future, now, tomorrow, whenever they will. He had that team 100% prepared. That quarterback is electric. You could tell that they had game plan and watch tape on FAMU. But one of the things that I think Coach Cozy, which if he's going to ride or die with RJ, I think he did a disservice. And this is why you can't tease this fan base. He brings Jet Petty in. Jet Petty kind of looks like they get the mojo, kind of looks like the team is moving. He throws a ball, the receiver, which we had multiple drops. I think we had 8 drops, several of them for touchdowns, and he took Petty out and never played him again. And then you have all the people, which again, people like myself, people that, you know, coaches, everybody else questioning what Coach. And I don't like question the coach. He's the coach, he gets paid $250,000. But I just think that I think what he should have done was played each one a series after a series to really give them a time to see which one to evaluate. But clearly, RJ Johnson is the guy. Albany State didn't have a kicker. FAMU pulled it out. But I'll tell you another thing, too. FAMU has got to really realize, I think this is an offensive thing, what is going to be our identity? Because we're not a running team. I don't believe we're a running team. I think we're a pass-first team to set up the run, and I think that's what they're going to have to figure out. Because I tell you what, The road's about to read the road 2 weeks from now when Alabama State comes into town. And we're going to know 100% where this program is at when that game, because Alabama State is coming to win that game. Andrew Biden's coming to win that game. So I guess, again, I wasn't worried about us losing the game. I was worried about how
Yeah. What did you say there, Coach? What did you see there with that game?
Albany, is one of those blue bread Division II programs. They had a big stadium before some of these Division I HBCUs. They gonna play you tough, but we sitting here, we talking about Florida A&M. They finally got out of the 20s. How much have they improved? I don't know. I'm not feeling real good about Florida A&M and being one of the best teams in the league. Like Coach said, you got to call it like you got to call it, man. Coach Cozy's got to get them going. They've had 2 recruiting seasons. These kids are now his. People's expectations of Florida A&M is not displaying. I got to call it like it is. And there's some issues and there's some problems somewhere in this team and in this program that they're not coming off of a national championship season. And in 2 years, it seems like they're going backwards. So it is what it is. We'll see if they can get out of this stunt or this slump they're in. And, we'll see. The season's about to come around. And, guys, at the end of the season, at the end of the day, you got to win games. So he won that one. And it don't matter if you win 3-0 the rest of the year, as long as you win in each week. But, if you're a betting man right now, you wouldn't have a lot of faith in Florida A&M running through the conference.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you, Coach. And I remember watching this game, and we always have to remember that Petty did throw an interception, and let's not forget that point. And it was
wait. No. See contact. No, Petty did not throw an interception. The receiver dropped the ball, and the interception was caught. There's a difference.
Okay. All right.
There's a big difference on that. So and that's the thing about it, and that was the interesting thing. What I've had people call me and say, "Well, that's the reason why he didn't go back in the game." And again, these coaches are allowed to coach the team, and I think I want to, because I think what we do a lot of times on these shows, not this show, because we actually have a coach. We criticize people when most of the people have never done what they do. So I'm going to show the respect that they deserve, because those are tough jobs that they have. But the question is more of a question. If Petty threw the interception, and maybe he'll be able to address it, because nobody asked him that on the coaches call, which I was interested. Nobody asked him that, but that it was what it was. Is that what is the situation? Is the thing that Jet just does not show what to play more, or you're saying, you know what, I'm going to ride or die with RJ, and that's the case, then just say that. Just say it.
Yeah. I watched the first half of the game, and when Jet did give them a jolt in the arm, right? I will definitely say that. But then once RJ starts off the second half the way he starts it off, I can't blame Cozy for keeping him in the game. I'm just being perfectly honest with you. He starts them off by throwing a strike on a slant post, whatever you call it, and the guy takes it to the house. I don't blame him for keeping RJ in once he comes back in the game. So, but so we can move on to next week. And if there ever was a such thing as an off week in the SWAC, this would be it. We have 4 games, but there's a opportunity in all 4 of these games, and so let's go ahead and talk about them. Campbell, you have strong opinions about this game, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, listen, I am a big believer of Coach Jackson. And if Prairie View is going to be the team that he believes they can be and what that fan base want them to be, you can't lose this game. This is what they say, a canary in the coal mine again. Because if they lose this game, I'm sorry, Prairie View folks. Y'all not going to have the season that you're going to have. I'm just telling you that point blank, period. So that's the reason why I think Coach Jackson understands that. I think he's not going to mess around. He saw what they did with Alcorn. Alcorn kind of messed around, lost this game. I think Prairie View is going to come out here, and I think they're really going to play well to get them ready for SWAC. But if they lose this game, guys, I'm sorry. This is not going to be your year.
Hey, Coach Cole, is Northwestern State going to be the SWAC West champions?
Well, I wouldn't take it that far, Coach Campbell, because when you look at the West, you got Grambling 2-1, you got UAPB 1-2, Alcorn is 0-3, Texas Southern 0-3, and Southern is 1-3. So the teams they got to play is not doing very well. Who they got left on the east side of the schedule?
The West side.
I'm sorry, yeah, the West side. So I wouldn't go as that far, but I understand that, yeah, we putting a lot of gas in Prairie View's tank, and they got to show and make people feel comfortable that they are the best team on the east side.
The West side.
I mean the West side. I keep missing them, but it is right that Are you saying that they got to win convincingly or just win?
No, Coach, I don't listen. Here's the thing, because I'm speaking from the bravado that the coach. Because let me tell you something was kind of funny. They won that Texas Southern game. That could have went the other way. Because what is Prairie View's record right now?
1-2.
They could be 0-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
they lose this game. That means they will be 0-4.
Well.
So my thing is and the reason why I'm saying they brought in the number one recruiting class. Okay. That's what they said. They brought in the number one recruit. We brought in all the players. The standard is the standard. And Coach Jackson, because that's my guy, he said, we win these games. We don't want to be just SWAC good. We want to be everybody on our level. So I'm going to hold him accountable for that because I like Coach Jackson. I like that mentality because that's the only way for the SWAC to get back to have some level of respect. We got to win these games. That's the level of disrespect for the SWAC is because we lose games like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, he's a first-year program. Northwestern been around, and they got better. We got to give Northwestern and their staff better. You got programs that come in. Look at Delaware State. We come in, nobody expect them to do well, but Northwest end up upsetting Alcorn. So, you got to put perspective on things year to year. Because Northwestern's been a perennial losing program in the last couple of years, and there's a good reason why. They also, if you've been knowing Northwestern, they have been having a pretty good program back in the day. So they trying to get things straight. I get it. Coach Jackson has wrote and sold a lot of tickets, but I don't look at it that way. I look at it that he's coming into a Prairie View program that he's trying to get it going in the right way. He's trying to get people behind. He's trying to get those dollars that he spends. So, I don't buy all the way into it. He knows what he have. But I think he beat Northwestern. I think he beat Northwestern 28-17.
So let me say this. I'm going to go ahead and prick Prairie View on this game, but I will say this. From a competitive standpoint, we went in to this season thinking there will be something on the line at the State Fair Classic. With them, if they lose to Northwestern, with Grambling almost losing to Kentucky State, I'll ask Campbell, what does that do to that game from a competitive standpoint?
Well, see, you hit it right on the head. So you're talking about two teams that had hopes because, again, everybody believes the West is wide open. Everybody in their locker room, right? We pick who we pick, but everybody in those locker rooms in the West said, we believe we can win it. So if you're coming out there and you're not producing and you got teams that are limping in with one win, barely beating teams that they should win, I mean, that's not good football. That is Grambling. We got a Coach Jackson. We got a championship coach. I want to see championship football. Again, I don't want to put a lot of pressure on because this is his first year. But I'm just telling, hey, this is Prairie View, folks. They making T-shirts. They got hoodies. He's singing Atlanta. Hey, man, when you do that, hey, man, hey, listen, I'm with you. Keep singing. But when you play these games, you better win them. You better win them because it means a lot for the SWAC. It means a lot for your program. So, again, your margin right now, you could have been 0-3. You don't want to be 0-4 or 1-3. So, Prairie View, like I said, you said you brought in all that talent. Let's show it. Because one thing I've also seen.
What are you saying? What are you saying about Alcorn, who lost to him?
That's the point. Exactly. So you're talking about high hopes, and then you lost to him. Alcorn is a better program than that. Coach Thomas is a better coach than that. He knows that. And like I said, the one thing about these coaches, they're not like they're running from this. So these are coaches, these are men. These are grown men that are not running from the smoke. But what I'm saying is I want them to understand when we play these out-of-conference games, we have people all over that come in to watch these shows, and the first thing they said, we can't win these out-of-conference games.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Northwestern beat Alcorn 20-10.
So wait, hold on, wait a minute. So Darius asked me what FAMU. Listen, I want to be clear. I don't know. That's the thing about it. Just the fact that I have to say I don't know, a Florida A&M, a traditional power, I don't know. But what I will say this, and in fairness to Prairie View, that school on the Rio Grande got a $100 million new barn down there and 38,000 students. So, I see that happening with West Florida and West Georgia. They're coming. So that's my answer to that. But on Florida A&M's level, the Jack State levels, the Grambling levels, the South Carolina State level, those teams are supposed to win those games. Yeah. The standard is a standard. So when you're a name team, yes, they should win that game. But the fact that I can't say that with confidence, that's where we're at. So I'm saying this with Prairie View is that I like Coach Jack. That man is a coach. That man's a real coach. And what he didn't do is he did not go Cornell Manor, I'm paid to win SWAC games. He did not say that. I like exactly what he said. I'm paid to win these games because these guys are on my level.
Well, let me go back to something that Coach Jackson said. Coach Jackson said, we want to be an elite FCS program. You can't even talk about being an elite program if you can't beat a team that's 1-20. I don't care who they lost to. I don't care how good their program is, Coach. If you can't beat a team that's 1-20, you need to go back to the drawing board. You don't have what you think you have. You're not who you think you are. And I'm not, and this is no slight to Coach Jackson. This is no, and him, it could be him completely being optimistic. But at the end of the day, he could lose this game and win the SWAC. In my opinion, this is still going to be a stain on his record if he loses the game.
See, listen to what you just said. And that's my point. And Crook said, what does students matter? When you have more students,
money.
That's activity fees. That's simple math. I know you learned that down to Southern. So that does matter. That's why they got a $100 million facility. So next, Rocky, to your point, that's what my point of it is. I don't want a SWAC champion. Let's play it out. To your point, a SWAC West champion, but they lose to a Northwest State that's like, what are they? What'd you just say? 1-22. You don't want that. You don't want that. And I'm talking about from what Coach Cole knows. I'm talking. Coach Cole, like I said, he rode on the back of that bus. Coach Cole, do you think Eddie Robinson or Case or WC Gordon would have lost that game? Or say we're gonna lose this game? We okay with that?
What you saying? Losing a team like Northwestern?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Well, this is a whole nother year, guys. That's all I can say. It's a whole nother year. But looking at Northwestern, of course they beat Alcorn, and then they lost to University of Cincinnati like 70-0, and then lost to University of Minnesota. I think another 60-0. I think Prairie View gonna do what they're supposed to do. I think Coach Jackson and PV gonna do what they're supposed to do.
But that's what we want.
They'll win this football game.
Yeah, and it's not a criticism. That's what we want. We want because see, listen. Let me say this as a fan. Rocky, I want them to win the game because, like you said, I want these games to mean something. I want Prairie View and Alcorn to mean something. I want Prairie View and Grambling to mean something. I want Southern and Prairie View to mean something. That's good for this show. That's good for the fans. But if you got teams walking in there, they're 1-5, and somebody's 1-6.
Let's look at this, Coach, because I want you to understand what Coach Jackson is about to take on. He's taking on a team that was 3 for 13 on third down against Alcorn. He's taking on a team that had 267 total yards against Alcorn, 85 passing yards against Alcorn. That was 9 for 16 against Alcorn. That threw an interception, that had 80 yards rushing on 41 carries, had 8 penalties for 60 yards. And Alcorn State had 15 penalties for 123 yards. If Prairie View cannot beat that, can't play cleaner than that and beat Northwestern State, Coach, they don't deserve to represent the SWAC West, Coach.
Look, I get what you guys saying, and I understand that PV should win this football game, and I have no doubt that he will win the football game. But I think you guys are putting a lot on coulda, woulda, shoulda. On any given Saturday, things can happen. But I don't see or foresee it being happen. I think he's on course with his program. I get it. He should win the game. I'm behind y'all 110%. You know what I'm saying? But, he's a first-year coach as well.
Coach, so this is what I say. Why does a first-year coach get to sing Atlanta, and also lose to Northwestern State?
That's the business. This is the honeymoon stage of any first-year coach. Any first-year coach. It's the honeymoon stage.
So should we pay attention to anything that first-year coaches say?
Mississippi Valley beat Florida A&M last year. Right? Stuff happens. First-year coach. He on his honeymoon. But let's move on, Coach. We spent so much time.
Yeah. Okay, we only got 3 games left, Coach, so we're going to get out of here. Coach, this is one where if Edwards Waters wins, should Coach Woody just hand his whistle to Coach Jenkins? I'll let the guy with the Florida ties answer this question first.
Listen, it gets go back to what my point is. This is a game Bethune-Cookman can't lose. See, this is my point. This is a game that, you exactly the point. Bethune-Cookman can't lose this game. But here's the thing. We've seen it happen last year. They lost, and Coach, you tell me because you know a little bit more than look. How do you compare this Edward Waters team to the Clark team of last year? Which one would you consider? I don't know if you've seen Edward Waters play this year. Yeah. But do you consider the same level of talent? Maybe not the quarterback position.
Of course.
Okay.
Because of all the skilled people and his staff. He has a very mature staff. Matter of fact, we'll have Coach Jenkins on Monday, and he can share and tell you guys actually what's happening. But I think you're right. I think this is more of a – first of all, if Prairie View lose to Northwest, it's a little black eye. It's a little, I don't think you are. But this here, Cookman, been here 3 years. This is this coach's team now. You're playing a Division II school. You got to win this football game.
And this will be the second year that you would have lost to a Division II. See, this is the thing, man. Listen.
Now, this is a win-win, gotta win.
Got to.
Or you better start stopping by Walmart or U-Haul and get some boxes.
Listen, I coined the phrase that U-Haul special, and I think you guys remember a couple of years ago when we talked about this, about the U-Haul special, and I pulled it up, and we knew what it was. It was 1995, and they gave you 100 miles. So that U-Haul special is still in effect. Yeah. So one thing,
it's that type of game, man. And if I was the head coach of Bethune-Cookman, I would take the same road. If I didn't get this one, I would be preparing my next move.
Well, Steve, this is the reason why I like what Bethune did against South Carolina State. Even though, like I said, we know it was late, but I think they needed to get that offense ginned up because they understood this game was one of those pivotal games in the season.
Gotcha. But they Bethune-Cookman should be able to get in there and beat Everett Waters. If not, and then these are two Florida teams, man. This is for the stomping ground as well. This is for the turf. You know what I mean? You can't be the worst football program in Florida. You can't be that.
And I'm going to say this one last thing on Bethune-Cookman, and I keep saying this, and this is about how far Bethune-Cookman's fallen. Before they joined the SWAC, and they felt very disrespected, they were, in their last 16 games against them, they were 15-1. They beat Grambling in their championship run, in Grambling. So the fact that this program has fallen to this level, when now they're looking at the bottom field of a Valley and a UAPB, and they're all in that same category, that's hard for a program.
And guess what, Coach? When they were winning, is going to come in there on Saturday.
There you go. And now you gave away my punchline. That's what I was about to end it with.
Brian Jenkins.
Well, Coach, I'll have I wonder, is this going to be on SWAC TV? I don't know. If not, boy, I wish they would.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll look it up while you guys talk, because SWAC TV should have the schedule out.
Okay.
Lane don't have a chance.
So I get to move on.
It'll be 40-0. And Sam, Coach Connors used to work for Sam, so Sam ain't gonna put him out. He'll get 40, 45, 42-0.
All right. Well, let me say this one right here, Coach. This is Grambling coming off a tough game against Kentucky State, with East Texas A&M coming in, a Division I school, coming in looking for their first victory. Hey, Coach, they licking their chops at Grambling, Coach. What happens when a team coming in that needs a victory, coming into your place looking for a victory, realizing that Grambling has 2 wins, but they've beat a NAI school, which is Langston, and barely beat Kentucky State? What's the mindset of Grambling inviting a team in that's looking for their first win and also a Division I school?
Well, I tell you what, they don't play some good football teams. They lost to SMU 42-13. They got beat by Florida State. So they prepared to play fast football. So I wouldn't sleep on East Texas A&M. They play in the Southland Conference. Once again, these the teams that you can't, as you always say, these the whites against the blacks. So this ain't no gimme for Grambling. Let's make sure. These are 2 even matched football programs.
Now, I did watch this team come into Prairie View last year with some talent, and Bubba was able to ink out a victory at homecoming. But I'm gonna be honest with you. From what I saw a lot of that Grambling game, Coach, and Grambling didn't have hardly any snap in that game. And to Campbell, correct me if I'm wrong, it didn't look like Grambling had much of a talent advantage either, other than T-Set at quarterback. That's the only guy that stood out as being more talented than the guys at Kentucky State. Was I seeing something different?
Well, that's the thing, and to this point, Kentucky State is not Albany State. You know what I'm saying? They're not that level of talent, so which makes it even worse. That, to your point. So that's what was concerning when I watched that game and looked at how that game was being controlled by Kentucky State, and just Grambling not being, again, I mean, tradition matters, and them not getting. But like I said, credit to them to understand that you play through the whistle too. And that's how he got to win. So shout out to Coach Joseph to let those kids know that until the whistle blows, you keep playing. So I got to give them credit on that. But yeah, I think they got to turn this around and really show some Grambling pride against East Texas A&M.
All right, Coach. All right, that's the lineup for next week. That's everybody. It's that time of the show. Again, I'm gonna be tuned in to all the games, especially the Edward Waters and the Northwestern State Prairie View game. And I'll keep an eye over there at Grambling as well. But I'm really looking to see, I believe those two games, the SWAC has to come through in those two games. And I expect Coach Jackson to.
Hey, Rocky, let me give you the SWAC TV lineup real quick.
Okay.
So, of course, on SWAC TV this Saturday, you're going to have Lane versus Alabama A&M. That's at 6 p.m. kickoff Central Time. You got East Texas A&M and Grambling at 6 p.m. kickoff time. And then at also Central Time, Northwestern State and Prairie View at 6 p.m. So you're going to be able to give a look at these games. I want everybody, hey, cut on, a couple of your screens, check those games out, give those views because they're trying to build something with SWAC TV. Of course, there's been some criticism about some of the production. But again, we got to keep watching and support it. And you get the chance to see these games, then come back and speak intelligently about the game and not what you heard about it.
Absolutely. Coach, you got anything else before we get out of here?
No, man, shoot. We seen some teams put some points up this week. Delaware State is still winning, which is a surprise to everybody. Perennial losing program. Deshaun Jackson is doing a fabulous job. We're still looking for Norfolk. And really, guys, we getting into the meat and, and things are moving slow, but now we're going to start getting in the meat and potatoes of it after this week. After this week, all the preseason and all the talking is over. We're really going to start seeing who's who. And so, I know I dropped the first game against Prairie View and everybody thought that, our season was pretty much over. And again, we end up running the table and winning the championship. I can remember at Tennessee State, we lost to Middle Tennessee State the first game of the year. And, we went on to win the Ohio Valley Conference, and that was the only game we lost in 2 years. So I've seen it on both ends. I've seen it, my team at Lane went 0-10 in my first year there. And the next year we went 7-3, and then the year after that we went 8-2. So I've seen some turnarounds, and I know Northwestern State is 1-20, but when you get a good coach in there, man, and get that thing going and the coach going in the right way, things can happen and swing your way. I mean, everybody, when you look at Southern last year, they won all those close ones with a first-year coach in Graves, and then this year, things has kind of changed in that area. So, we'll see, things, you can't go by all this talk, like Mike Tyson used to say, any man want to get in with the ring with you until he's 6 inches away from getting punched in the face. So that's what's about to happen. I look for big things to happen. But, hey, guys, about all this thing that's going on with this political, man, keep your head to the ground and on the swivel. Love, God has taught all of us to love each and every one. Love that neighbor. I believe in that, and I don't want to get involved with none of that. Anybody and nobody deserves to be punished on this earth, and the only one got that right is the man upstairs. I want to thank you guys for continuing to follow our show. I know sometimes it's getting tough out there, and always, if you feel yourself at the end of the rope, you tie a knot and you hold on tight, because like HBCU, ain't nobody bad like you.